Bam ba bam 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 ba bam 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 ba 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 bam bam ba bam bam. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Scrappy, and for today's video I'm here to show you guys how anybody can unlock the Diamond Rank badge. I've made many videos like this already pertaining to the 4K badge, Masters badge, and 20 bomb badge, but from this video moving forward I'll be renaming this series from Apex Legends Commentary to Apex Legends University, and class is now in session. Here you will learn tips and tricks from a 15 times Apex Predator, the #1 Loba, 150,000 total kills, several hundred 20 bombs and 4Ks, and eventually the only person in the entire world to go from Bronze 4 to Masters using every legend in the game. If you want to learn what it takes to be good at this game, then this series will be perfect for you. This is how anyone can unlock the Diamond badge. Buckle up and take some notes. The commentary starts now. So you'll quickly see that I had a last minute decision to land us at the satellite POI next to Oasis. That's because far too many teams were landing there. And one thing you'll want to take advantage of in plat lobbies while making your way to Diamond will be the many teams that land at the same POI. Land somewhere next to them, loot up what you can, pay attention to the kill feed to see when they're knocking each other by listening to the sounds of the guns that are being shot, and then simply third party them. A majority of the time that'll provide you some decent KP very early on in the game and put you in a great position to easily gain 100 plus RP every game. And you'll see that's exactly what we do here. And although I didn't wait for them to knock each other in this video, I want you guys that are struggling to get Diamond to always make sure that you're waiting for some knocks before you third party. You should be waiting until they trade, so that means one person is knocked on each team, making it a 2v2, which still gives you a lot of KP potential, and it should make it easy for you guys to wrap it up since there's a man down on each team. One thing I want you to focus on mainly in this video is how in plat lobbies these teammates never play with one another. So as a player in Platinum, whether you're solo queuing or not, you guys must take advantage of that in order to get to Diamond. And I don't want to hear, oh Scrappy, you hit all your shots. If you listen to my tips, listen to my strategies, and implement them into your gameplay, you will give yourself such an advantage over the enemy, so much so that you'll be able to miss some shots and still end up winning that fight. That's why IQ is over everything in this game, both movement and aim. Moving forward here, after we kill that first team, we make our way to the second team that landed at Oasis, and they're playing very scared. I get a Bloodhound scan which reveals that all three of them are on the right side, which leaves the left lane open for me. So that's where I decided to push. I climb up to give me a high ground advantage, which forces the enemies to push me. I shoot at the Ashe to bait their teammates climb up, and the Wraith did exactly that, and I kick her right to the dome. I didn't think she would be that weak, but I wasn't trying to kill her. Was only trying to knock her off the high ground. The Octane climbs up, I kill him, and then I jump down on the Wattson who's last alive. Notice how I challenged that Wattson. I don't have that much health and she had more than me, but her attention was towards my teammate right there, which gives me a window to push her even if I'm weak. And again, I'm able to do this because she's distracted by my teammate, and I use that distraction to my advantage, which allows me to challenge her and kill her even if I had weak health. And that's another thing I want you guys to take advantage of while in Platinum lobbies. Platinum players will get distracted very easily and hyperfixate on stupid things. So if you could be sure to pay attention to your teammate's position and their health, things like the kill feed, looking out for third parties, etc., will give you a major advantage in these lobbies and allow you to easily rank up to Diamond. Also, one more thing. One thing that is very common for Platinum players is that they push in waves. There's rarely any cohesion. So while in a fight, stick with your teammates, be patient, and the enemies more than likely will push you one by one in waves, making it very easy for you to wipe them out. And you'll see a perfect example of that right here. Here we're engaging in a fight on top of Waterfall. I beat them to high ground and take it immediately to give me and my teammates the advantage. Now they have to push us. I notice that they start to climb up and I'm a little by myself, so I back up toward my teammates. But now they know I've established myself on high ground, and it now puts them on the offense, which is very difficult for Platinum and Gold players to do. Now the Bangalore and Loba both climb up together, but the Loba doesn't even shoot at me, which gives me a 1v1 with the Bangalore, and now she's very weak. The Loba then continues to climb up to my high ground by herself, and I'm able to do major damage to her while my teammate finishes her off. You see exactly what I'm talking about in real time. It's very difficult for Platinum and Gold players to offensively push you. They do so without any strategy or game plan. So once again, as a Platinum player trying to get Diamond, I need you guys to be a little bit more patient in your fights and rely on the enemy stupidly pushing you, because it will happen a lot in these lobbies. And if you're next to your teammates like I instructed, 2 guns on 1 person, you should have no problem with killing these people, whether or not you can hit your shots. And we'll see another example of this right here. We get third party by a team that's walking around with their head up their ass. This is a silly mistake because they have to have heard us, and so while they're pushing us, they're running around with their head down and their guard down, and they run in one by one. The Loba is very weak, so she needs to fall back, but she doesn't and continues pushing forward with her teammate. My teammate has an angle on high ground and helps assist with the kills in both of them and allows my teammate Farva to stay alive. One thing you'll rarely see in plat lobbies are your random teammates holding angles over you. G-Slick did this very well, so hats off to him. So this is something that you Platinum players need to start doing so that you can perfect it by Diamond. Holding an angle for your teammate, watching over them, but still staying relatively close so that you're still in the fight. No greater than 20 meters away from your teammates unless you're playing a movement legend. Moving on to the next fight. Once again, you'll notice how this team is completely separate from one another. This is something that is very common in Platinum lobbies, and you can help beat that if you stay closer to your teammates. It's really that simple. So as we're walking up this hill, my teammate scans 2 enemies, but they left us too much room to walk up. So I beat them to the top of the ramp, which now gives me a head glitch and forces them to walk back. And that's what one of their teammates does, but the Wraith stays still. She gets clipped because she has no cover, and the Bloodhound that ran away re-peeks again and instantly gets cracked by my teammate. I have the health and numbers advantage. Remember my aggressive tip video? And so I hard swing that Bloodhound and kill him. And then 47,000 years later, their Lifeline teammate finally pulls up. They push in waves in Platinum. Stick with your teammates, play together as a team, and you will run into many teams like this. And if you feel like you aren't, that's because this is what you look like when you're playing. You are the player that's pushing in waves, costing your team RP. Stop doing that and play with your teammates. You don't need the greatest IQ, the greatest mechanics, or the greatest aim to get to Diamond. Hopefully by now you'll see that my tips can help anybody get to Diamond ranked. Here's another Platinum team that's completely unaware of their surroundings. They are hyperfixated on the teammates below them and completely oblivious to their surroundings. So I walk up and I one-clip one. You don't have to one-clip like that. In fact, you probably can't. But by giving yourself the advantage in every fight, by listening to my tips and positioning yourself better within fights, you'll give yourself a little bit of a leeway. The reason why I'm this good has very little to do with my aim, and it has mainly to do with my macro and micro positioning. Those are concepts that I reserve for higher levels though, so don't worry about it. So after pushing that team down there, we're now getting gatekept on the top of this ramp that we just vacated. I'll have to unmute my mic for my teammates to communicate this because this is a hard rotation now. It was so difficult that eventually my teammate gets knocked, and I'm a little bit wide split for my team without any movement. But I'm able to get some really good shots on the Bangalore right here. She's 1 HP now. And although she's alive, she's now out of the fight and must heal. And now it's a 2v2. And I use this opportunity to tell my teammate to go revive my teammate while I make my way back towards them. And then from there, we'll rotate all the way around in round 3 Storm, because round 3 Storm is not scary Platinum players, especially if you have heat shields. So once again, that damage that I put onto the Bangalore makes her very weak and now puts her out of the fight because she has to heal. Because of the position of my other 2 teammates, they're now able to get a good revive off, while I use that opportunity to walk past that team that's gatekeeping me, because I'm able to now that the Bangalore is no longer watching me. In fact, one of them even jumped down from high ground, and as soon as I fried their Bangalore teammate, was forced to go back up that ramp because she knows that her teammate is now out of the fight and she can't push us by herself. It's all X's and O's, baby. I don't need to kill that Bang right there. In fact, I'm not even trying. And even if I knocked her, same thing's gonna happen. I use that opportunity to rotate, because if you're stuck in a situation like this, in plat lobbies while solo queuing especially, a fight like this is very difficult. So I want you Platinum players to remember, if it seems a little too difficult, don't even stress about it. Rotate through Storm. You lower ranked players are so afraid of Storm, and hope by watching this you'll see that it's really not that scary. Just make sure you're carrying heat shields. And with this great macro rotation, we are now in the backside of the zone by ourselves with perfect back shots on this team, and we're now pinching this team in front of us. But I get Krabered unfortunately, so I'm forced to back up. My goal right here is to do damage from afar without overextending, and I want to stay on this side of the circle where we're at to keep this team in front of us pinched. And we also move with them. This is called mirroring. They rotate one way, we rotate with them, but from afar, safe space. And I'm being sure to not cross that invisible line. You'll see what happens to me when I do cross that invisible line. Anyway, my teammate scans and we see the solo Bangalore up here in this building by herself. I know that she's a solo, 1 because she's being pinged by herself, but 2, there are 4 squads live with 10 people left, which tells me there's a solo alive in the game. And because this Bang is by herself, I instruct my team to push her. That gives us more kills, which gives us more RP. Now there's 3 squads left. Remember what I said about crossing that invisible line? Yeah, that's so you don't get yourself exposed and put yourself in a pinch. I went to go chow this Bangalore right here because she's isolated and I have the health advantage, and I just get Chris Kyle straight out of the sky. And at this point, I'm starting to panic a little bit because I just threw the game. But at the same time, somebody else Krabers one of that teammates in front of me. So now that team cannot push me anymore. They have to revive their teammate. And now I'm telling my teammates to shoot at the Kraber behind us. I remember from earlier that this is a duo. So if we can get this res off, we're going to immediately push that duo and get them out of the game. And fortunately for us, we were able to get it off. So I heal up and I push this team. But I tell one of my teammates to stand their ground at the top of this hill to look down at the third party that will push us once we instigate this fight. My teammate didn't listen. Miss whatever. I get the knock on the Loba right here. My teammate ends up knocking his duo. And I go straight back to where I told my teammates that they needed to stay. This is because I know the last team is going to use this opportunity to push us because they think we're distracted. But I'm never distracted. I beat them to this point to prevent them from pushing us. I get some shots onto the Mirage, but my gun wasn't reloaded, so it prevents the one clip. I slide down this hill because I know I had the Mirage isolated. I assume that both of their teammates would be to the left. Nope, they're both in front of me. I miss all my shots on the Mirage and I get evaporated. My teammates drops on both of them while they're both shooting at me. My other teammate is on my angle behind me watching over us on high ground. At this point, I instruct my teammate to keep moving forward in front of that planter where that tree is. That'll give him some protection. Meanwhile, I'm telling my teammate on high ground to slide down and help him. He never does, but he had a really good angle. Therefore, allowing both of my teammates to be team shooting this last guy. The way you'll win more of your fights efficiently is by putting 2 guns onto 1 person. And like I said, this is very easy to do in platinum lobbies because most of the time the enemy is going to push you 1 by 1. So if you stay by your teammates and you communicate with them, most of the time you'll be able to team shoot these enemies, much like my 2 teammates did at the end right there. I hope that you find these videos informative and helpful. By laying out my thought processes like this, I'm able to teach you guys things that nobody's able to teach you, and in my opinion, more beneficial than those tip videos that everybody makes. Tip number 1, play zone. Tip number 2, get kills. None of that's helpful. If you haven't already, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I got a lot of videos rolling out this week in preparation for next season. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam.